Ndị be anyị ekele m unu ọzọ n'ụbọchị nke taa. Daalụ ndị na-ekwunu si na-esore n'ihe anyị na-eme n'iru akwụkwọ. Anyị sị ụbọchị nke taa dịrị na anyị na mma, na anyị adị ka echi na echi ada agwụ agwụ. Otu anyị kwuru otu aka ọ ya dịrịrị. Ise ise ise. Anyị dịka o si dị dịka anyị si kwuo unu nkwa na anyị ga na-ewetara unu ọpdeti. Mana ya bụ ife bụ gbasara maka ihe na-eme n'obodo anyị bụ Old Eastern Region. Ịma na onye a gwara ada aghọta and onye akọwalụ na-eke ife si dị ada anụ. O nwere ihe disman nọ n'iru akwụkwọ a Ayara Gulu kwuru n'iru akwụkwọ butere my attention ji si ka mụ tinyere ya ụmụchukwu nke ya bụ ife maka na ebi ọzọ ebi obodo ya sago. The more you hold Maazị Nnamdi Kanu, the more Nigerian economy is breaking down. E nwere any option than to release him. O kwuru ya ekwu. Gee ntị ka ị n'ife okwu ị ga-esi ebe ife drọpụrụ comment gị n'iru akwụkwọ on the comment section below. All right, over to you, sir.
Hello, fellow citizens. This is your friend and brother, Dr. Haruna Goro. I don't know, I think it's maybe close to a month now, if not more. We haven't connected. I believe you're all doing fine. Let me know where you're watching me from Nigeria, within Africa, or abroad. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time where you're watching me. Well, how are you all doing? Niger, our country, the country of our birth. Where else do we run to? A lot of people think, well, I'm going to Japan. So you Japan, don't you know that where you're Japan to? That people made sacrifices, did a lot to make sure that they had good governance or good government and systems working, and that's why you can go abroad and have things working. So please go ahead and share the link with as many people as you can. I want to welcome you all. I see Creative Minds watching from Maiduguri. How are you guys all doing? I see, Tim Henderson all the way. Oh, how are you doing, brother? Thank you for joining. We're talking about what's happening in Africa, especially in the most populated country, black country in the world, and that is Nigeria. Maybe those of you that are not from Nigeria or you're not familiar with what is happening. Last year, Nigerians went out, especially the young people, to vote for change. They were tired of corruption, tired of insecurity, tired of things just not working, systems not working, bad governance. People will rig their way to power. And so that's what has been happening. So last year in February, many young people went out. They called them the obedience. They went out to vote for change. And the election was stolen broad daylight. The person that was the chairman of the independent, so-called independent electoral commission, that is Professor Yakubu, stole the election, and Peter Obi of Labour Party, who was the preferred candidate of many people in Nigeria, went to court to seek for justice. But sadly, the Nigerian judiciary or the justice system in Nigeria also corrupted, very corrupt. So it was obvious to everyone that they were not going to get justice. So, and that was what happened. The presidency of the incumbent, that is Tinubu, they call him the Agbado Master, Emi Lokon, the one who said, now it's my turn, it's like sharing a cake. And that's how he came into power right now. And a lot is going wrong in the nation already. It's just barely maybe 8 or 9 months, and things have gotten so worse, actually so bad, actually worse than 8 years of his the one that was there, Buhari, before him. Well, he actually said he's coming to continue where Buhari ended. So I'm just doing this broadcast just to catch up with us, find out how we are all doing. I hope you haven't given up hope for Nigeria, because the journey, as Obi says, is not a sprint, it is a marathon. As it was with the Israelites when they were in Egypt. They suffered for 400 years, and I'm not saying this to mean that Nigerians are going to suffer for 400 years, but I'm just talking about sometimes it takes time, especially if you're trying to come up against the establishment, people that have used corruption, perpetuated corruption to oppress the people. They will not want to relinquish power so easily. They will use everything, every machinery that they can use to make sure they stay in power. So that's what we're just catching up on. So let me know where you're watching me from again, and go ahead and share the video or share this broadcast with as many people. Let them join us. I want to just touch on a few things before I go off, because I don't want to talk long. As you have noticed, I've not been doing broadcasts, not because I've given up on Nigeria, but because what else can you do? I've called people, we advised them what to do before the election, during the election, after the fake result that was released or was announced. And then we called on Nigerians to rise up and take their nation back. And that the moment you allow Tinubu, who knows nothing but corruption, to be sworn in, he's going to fortify his grip on this illegitimate power that he's holding on to and that he has right now. And so that it's not going to be easy to get him out. And people that are thinking, 2027 is coming, let's get ourselves together and chase him out or remove him or unseat him, it's not going to be easy, because if somebody could do what he did when he was not the president, and he was able to get himself in there forcefully, how would 2027 be? Except if a miracle from God happens, or Nigerians change their strategy than just thinking it's the normal going out to vote, the normal ballot papers that will do it, because they are so corrupt. Like the promise that when you go and vote, they will ensure that every vote counts, but it never counted. And they said they were going to upload the voting real time, but they never did that. They actually switched off the machine, allegedly, saying that there were some fault. And they spent billions to acquire those machines that they now say are having issues. Well, there are things that are happening, and we just want to catch up. Let's talk about the economy. What do you have to say? Let me hear your view on the economy. Remember what the exchange rate with Naira to a dollar, I don't know what it was with the euro or the pounds, but I know the one of the Naira to the dollar. Was it not 500 and something? That is in Naira to a dollar. But then when Tinubu came in, the moment he came in, it rose to about 750. And he removed this oil subsidy, promising Nigerians that they have something that will cushion them, but it made things worse. And now petrol just shot up, the price of petrol. And right now, as I speak, many multinational companies that have been in Nigeria, some for 50 years, some for 30-something years, are already closing their activities, closing their offices. Even Shell, that is known to be like a Nigerian company, is already moving out. And that's what is happening. So talking about the economy, people like us warned Nigerians. We said things will be worse under Tinubu, because Tinubu's idea of business and economy is self-enrichment, because that's exactly what he did in Lagos. Turned Lagos to become his own business empire. And that's why we warn people, don't let Tinubu come in, because it's not going to be easy for Nigerians. Things will go from bad to worse. If there's anything more than worse, just target to this current regime. So that's what is happening. For Buhari, his own time, he was more a tribalist, or just, actually I call him a tribal bigot, or others call it bigot. So he is like naive, but he was smart in the way he orchestrated his plan and his plan, got it together and made sure he hatched it and brought it to pass. And all he was concerned was building a Fulani caliphate, taking over Nigeria and making it a Fulani country. And that's why they didn't mind killing people. The Fulani headsmen were killing people in their hundreds and thousands. And today we have many IDP camps all over Nigeria. That happened as a result of Buhari's agenda of Fulanization. And he succeeded in doing that. And now the Fulanis, do you know recently, I saw something where in Nasarawa State, Nasarawa State is not a Fulani state, but they now, what have they done? Over 2,000 vigilante that are just from one tribe, that is the Fulani tribe. And most of the people that have invaded entire communities, killed people, burnt down people, and even their businesses, and took over their places. Those are the same people that are now the vigilante group. And I remember the Amatekun, the one of the Yoruba one. They came up there to also say they needed vigilante because they were going into forests, taking over people. Even obas and chiefs, local obas, were adopted by these people, kidnapped by these people, and ransoms were required from them. They also, in the south, they also came up with their own vigilante. And I remember even the Middle Belt, because of what was happening in Benue, Kaduna, and especially in Plateau. So they came up with their own vigilante, but they were not allowed. They never sanctioned it. So suddenly now they are allowing the one of Nasarawa because it is still the same Fulanis. And the governor knows about it. That governor that is sitting with an illegitimate mandate, stolen mandate, because they bribed the judiciary. So that's what has happened. And I'm telling you, things are worse now. The economy is worse. Go to the airport and see what is happening. The number of people that are checking out of the nation. They are saying, I'm sick and tired. They can't wait for 4 years of suffering. If 8 months is already like hell, how much more another 3 years and maybe a few months under Tinubu? Possibly, if something does not happen or is done, it will extend to 8 years of suffering and pain for Nigerians. So I want to hear your comment. What do you have to say about what is happening? Because with what Buhari did, and Tinubu said it's coming to continue where Buhari stopped. And his own is not necessarily, even though people are talking about he's just putting Yorubas, especially from Lagos. But you know what? Anybody, whether it's Yoruba, Tinubu is not thinking about the Yoruba people. Any Yoruba that is putting in there is for his own person. If he knows this person will come and help to fortify his grip to power and also help to expand his business empire, which is purely selfish. It's not that he's thinking about the Yorubas, but that's what he's doing. And he's using them, and so he doesn't mind the Yorubas working against the Igbos as long as he will get what he wants. That's the whole thing about, even all this thing about bulldozing Igbo businesses in Lagos, burning their businesses, telling them to go to the east, is all so that he can have his own business, or businesses will expand. So that's what is happening. So Tinubu, we already know, when it comes to corruption, he is a genius, a master. He masterminds everything that has to do with corruption and surrounds himself with such people that will enable it, or that will help him, make it easier for him. And that in my own opinion, but leave your own opinion. I want to hear, write it in the comment section, but that's what I feel about what is going on. So corruption now, under Tinubu, anybody that is currently, I've been complaining about the corruption now, and I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm just saying, looking at the indicators, where things are at, and knowing from the antecedents of Tinubu, this past record, who we are dealing with, who is sitting as commander-in-chief now, except if Tinubu is out, except if a miracle happens, we can only expect the worst, because he doesn't have a clear agenda for Nigeria. It's all about himself. So, and that's what is happening. So corruption under Tinubu it's already been taken to another level. Most of his cabinet ministers are people that were either under the investigation, or they had cases to answer with EFCC, and most of them had to do with corruption. And they had not been cleared, including the Senate president. And Bajamila, that happens to be Tinubu's chief of staff. Currently, we've had so many allegations, many of the corruption, including the one of Amefiele, the one of CBN, that is currently now under the EFCC issue and has a clear case to answer. They're now finding out from investigations going on that Bajamila is connected. It's also connected to that one of the former CBN. And now Edu, that was supposed to come as a minister to help alleviate people's suffering under her own ministry, just within 3 months, billions were already stolen and put in her own private account. And you know, I was told that, was it a few days back, that Edu finally got audience with the president. And she was in tears, on her knees, just telling him, please hear me, listen to me. Let me tell you what is happening. And do you know what was found out? In fact, they said at a point, Tinubu had to call the first lady to come and hear for herself. And they were surprised to hear that the same Bajamila again is also implicated in the money that they had to do with Edu. So Edu is wondering, why should I be the one that should be suffering? Meanwhile, in your own doorstep, in your own office, the one that is your own, the person that is your chief of staff is also involved. So why should I be the one that should suffer alone? So that's already coming out, telling you the kind of team that Tinubu has surrounded himself with. And it's just months into his regime, and we're already experiencing these things. So where do we go from here? Only Nigerians will have to just stand up and declare, what do we want to see? What kind of Nigeria do we want to see? And nobody can force it on you, not even people like us. We are just sharing out of concern. God has put it in our heart, or let me say my heart, to talk about what's going on in Nigeria, to help shape the people towards change. But you know, you can, as it is said, you can take the horse to the river, but you can't force the horse to drink. That's exactly. So now the ball is not even with the politicians, it's not in their court. The ball is in the court of Nigerians. Only Nigerians can bring the change. You know, I was listening to somebody, actually Aisha was saying that she is tired of helping Nigerians. Because if they don't want to be helped, then they shouldn't be calling on her for help. The time they are supposed to rise up and demand accountability from their government and the people that they elected, they are quiet. Then suddenly, when they have problem, they are now going to other people that are generous to be asking them for help. And meanwhile, broad daylight, the people that are in government are stealing money, impoverishing the people. So Nigerians have to just stand up and say enough is enough. And we're not calling for violence. We've already had enough insecurity and violence in the nation. But we are saying peacefully, demand justice, demand your rights. And say anybody that was voted for, it doesn't even matter whether they were not voted for, but they forced themselves on the people, then they need to sit up and govern the people right. Think about the people and not just their own personal evil interest, but they must be about the people. And now, let's also look at the issue of security. And some people are saying, why are the companies living? Are they living? I mean, will you want to invest your money in a place where you're not secure, where you can't tell what will happen to you, your life? Right now, there is insecurity. Before, we used to hear in the forest and in some states, maybe northeast and northwest, and then part of southern Kaduna, the plateau, and also Benue. But right now, they have taken insecurity into the seat of government. That is in the capital city. They are abducting people, kidnapping them, some killing even them. You remember the family that were kidnapped, and the man had 6 daughters or 6 children. One of the daughters was killed by the kidnappers. They demanded a lot of money. Today, they are even the army barracks, they are going and kidnapping. Abuja and the environment or the environs are not safe. So people that used to feel safe in the capital, they are no longer safe. And then some people are saying, no, they are trying to frustrate Tinubu's government and they're not happy about Wike being the minister of the FCT. Well, whatever is the reason, the issue is that Tinubu promised that when he comes, insecurity will come to an end. And Wike said, as long as he's in Abuja, there will be security. But right now, things have become worse. So where is the change? Where is the next level that they said they are taking us to? And that's why Nigerians, we need to take a stand. One thing we've been doing and doing very well, and we should not relent, is praying. Because power belongs to God. He sets up one and brings down another. Will we say God is the one that gave us Tinubu? I wouldn't say that outrightly. He forced himself there. But he's already there. What can we do than pray and trust God that there will be change? And I still believe it is possible, especially because of the people that are suffering, unnecessary suffering, in a nation that is so endowed with human resource, with natural resources, name it. The brains of Nigerians. We have traveled to some nations of the world and have seen anywhere there are Nigerians, they thrive. They excel in whatever they do. But the issue, the challenge we have is bad governance. I am looking forward to that day when Nigeria will truly have the manifestation, the clear expression of good governance. And God has people that have what it takes to bring this about. Like Peter Obi, Baba Ahmed. But these wicked people don't like people like Peter Obi. So that's why, but I believe that God will bless us with people like him. Because things are not going to continue like this forever. It is said, generally, that many days for the thief, but one day for the owner. I still believe, I still see a possibility of a new Nigeria. I call on the obedience, especially the young people. It does not matter how long, but I'm confident that this change is bound to come. So don't ever give up. Don't throw in the towel. Don't feel it is over. It is not yet over until we win, until we take our nation back from these political rogues. Allowing them is what they will actually be happy. If everybody folds his hand or her hand and say, they're already here, let's allow them. Let them steal all they want to steal. Let them kill all the people they can kill. Innocent people are suffering in the process. And maybe you're saying, I will leave and go abroad. But not everybody has what it takes to be able to go abroad. And we have seen how many of our people have died in the desert, trying to cross the Sahara Desert. How many have died in the sea? Very, very sad. But I believe a new Nigeria is still possible. Let me get your views. Let me hear what you have to say. But I plead with us, let's not give up. Let's not throw in the towel. Because we have a nation that is a blessed nation. And we can still make Nigeria work. You have a part to play. I have a part to play. Yes, let's continue to pray. And let's continue to speak good over the nation. Because criticizing, speaking evil, Nigeria is bad, Nigeria is destroyed, I hate Nigeria, those are not the words that should be coming out of your mouth. The Bible says that death and life are in the power of the tongue. There is power in your own tongue. Go ahead and declare that this nation, Nigeria, will work. We will leave a nation for our children's children that they will be proud to call their own home. Well, as I promised, I don't want to talk too long. They say a word is enough for the wise. Nigeria, our nation. I really want to appreciate you. I believe this year is going to be a great year for us all. Things will start to shift and change. How that will happen, I can't tell you, but I'm confident that it is still possible. Because with God, all things are possible. So I want to say thank you very much for joining me today. Again, please share this broadcast with as many people as you can and let them know that Nigeria is still our nation and we still believe it will work and they must not give up. And do whatever you can do to ensure that we see the birth of a new Nigeria. I want to say thank you very much for joining me and I look forward to seeing you in my next broadcast. As you may have noticed, I'm not coming up with broadcasts as before. I will only do it when it's necessary. And so when you don't see me, just know everything is fine. It's not because I've given up on Nigeria. Let's keep on praying. Let's keep on believing and play our own part. God does his own part best. So thank you. I look forward to seeing you next time. Once again, this is your friend and brother, Dr. Haruna Goro. God bless you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. See you next time. Bye-bye.
ndị be anyị ekenekwere m unu ọzọ dịka m ihe n'ebe mfana mbaka kwuru n'iru akwụkwọ ka ife nwere ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife chetakwana ụbọchị taa bụ ụbọchị afọ ụbọchị ahịa afọ n'ala Igbo ka ife nwere ike ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife niile ahụ kwugasị drọpụra ya comment on the comment below. ọzọ dị ka ibe ya bụ daalụ nne. chetakwana ọzọ na ihe Eastern News 24 ka anyị si ka wee na-wetara unu ọzọ ka emesịa nụ ndị be anyị.